Hey everyone, it's Michelle. In today's video, I am sharing with you all my favorite skincare items of 2024, the items I felt like made a huge difference towards my skin's health and catered to my skincare goals of keeping it clear and just promoting the well-aging process. I found this year in particular posed a little bit of a challenge because if you didn't know already, I am pregnant, so I can no longer use my prescription strength 0.1% tretinoin, but that's okay. Thankfully, I haven't noticed a huge change in my skin since stopping it. I feel like the items I'm about to share with you all do promote the well-aging process in a very gentle format, which is what I actually wanted during this phase of my life. I didn't want to go too crazy with the actives. I just wanted to just use this time to nurture my skin more than anything. Obviously, there are some forms of actives in here, but definitely not as strong as the tretinoin prescription. And I'm not using it on a weekly basis, just as an as-need basis. A lot of the items I will mention today, I have actually already talked about them at some point or another on my channel. Most of them are new from this year, but there's definitely some old favorites in here that I feel like are worth mentioning because I did stop using them at one point, reintroduced them back, and still noticed a difference and noticed what I was missing in my skincare routine. So with that being said, let's start off with the first product, which is the Bioderma Sensibio H2O Micellar Water. This is probably a product you're tired of hearing about because a lot of people talk about it, but I think it's for a very good reason. I think, in my opinion, after trying various micellar waters, this one is the best one. I really like, one, how gentle it is. Two, it actually cleanses my skin without leaving any sort of residue. It doesn't foam up, which is something I have experienced with other micellar waters in the past. And so with this, I just trust that it will cleanse my skin gently, get the job done. And when I was going through the first trimester hormonal surges and just a lot of the symptoms, one of them being major fatigue, and not being able to do my skincare in general, this is one of the few things I was able to do, which is just simply cleanse my face with the Bioderma micellar water and just call it a day. I was actually trying for a period to not double cleanse anymore just to see how well cleansing alone will do. And I do find for the most part, even with the water resistant sunscreen, that using a standalone cleanser did the job. But given how tired I was in the first trimester and just how nothing was working for my skin at the time, this really came in handy. So I believe this is here to stay in my skincare collection from this point on. Just very handy to have. The next skincare product that's been my favorite for 2024, it is an oldie but goodie as well. It's the Avene Thermal Spring Water. I actually used it today to calm down some flushing I had after coming inside from the cold weather. You probably all experience it as well when you go from extremes from cold outside to a warmer inside temperature. So sprayed some of this on to calm the flushing and it worked almost immediately. I consider this thermal water spray like my top SOS skincare product. I started using this when I was going through the CO2 Fraxel laser sessions for my acne scarring, and it's just been in my skincare collection ever since. It's just really good to have on hand. Usually I have a bigger bottle. I bought this smaller one during my first trimester when, again, my skin was just really freaking out. It was flushing a whole lot. This, alongside the Bioderma micellar water, was one of the few things I could actually use on my face comfortably and knowing that it will do the job. I was always skeptical about thermal spring water, and it wasn't until I tried this that I really believed the hype of it and the benefits that it gives for your skin. The next two skincare favorites are hydrating toners. The first one I want to give a shout out to is the Ordinary's Saccharomyces Ferment 30% Milky Toner. This really is a gentle exfoliating toner that brightens the skin and adds a touch of moisture. Once my skin normalized in the second trimester, this is one of the first items I started using in my skincare routine. Not using a whole lot of skincare, I was definitely noticing flakes around my nose area and just in random areas on my face. Once I started using this toner, I definitely noticed the gentle exfoliation at work. Because those flakes no longer existed, this gave a good touch of moisture to my skin where it did not congest my skin. And I also noticed the brightening properties of this toner. So I definitely really appreciate this Milky toner. In the past, the ones I've used, while definitely rich and moisturizing, I felt like sometimes they were too moisturizing for my skin. The biggest example I have is the Laneige Cream Skin Refiner, the original one. I would notice that while it did nicely moisturize my skin, it felt like it was moisturizing a little bit too much, where my pores started to become exaggerated. Another example is the Slurp Laboratories Preparation B5. I also felt that it kind of just was too rich for my skin and my pores were exaggerated. When I use the ordinary one, it adds the touch of moisture without doing that. I find this caters really well to my normal to oily skin type. The second toner that I have really enjoyed this year is the Round Lab 1025 Dokdo toner. I started off with the 100 ml bottle and repurchased the jumbo 500 ml bottle. I like that this does exactly what I expected it to do, which is to just gently hydrate my skin. It provides slightly deeper hydration than other toners I have tried. And actually, there is a Korean skincare lab that actually tested this and other toners from Olive Young. I'll leave a link to that in the description box down below. It continues the gentle exfoliation that the Ordinary's toner provided. The reason I switched to this is because I wanted something a bit more watery, not so milky, and leaving that kind of more emollient film on my skin. So this one, it does leave a softness on my skin, but it's super light. I find it really easy to layer this with zero issues. The 100 ml bottle was definitely a good trial size before purchasing the jumbo one. And now during the winter months where I do feel a little bit more tightness in my scalp after a shower, I plan on going in with this toner before I shower every time to just lightly hydrate my scalp. I find for me, someone with a very oily scalp, I do wash my hair every other day. Having something light and hydrating like this really comes in handy to just maintain my scalp's health. The next two set of skincare favorites for this year are two serums that I've already mentioned a few times already. The first one is the Numbuzin 3 Skin Softening Serum. This is a Ferment serum with bifida ferment lysate and galactomyces ferment filtrate, I believe, which are two of my favorite types of ferments. I've used those ingredients separately throughout the years and have noticed how they've benefited my skin, and I always notice that my skin changes when I stop using them. So the reason why I wanted to reintroduce a fermented serum back in my skincare routine is because I really do notice that this is one of the best gentle ways of promoting the well-aging process in my skincare routine. I noticed that my skin not only looks a bit brighter, it looks stronger, it feels stronger, and I notice that when I used to break out more before changing certain lifestyle habits, that my skin was able to heal and recover a lot faster from really bad cystic breakouts. And in fact, those breakouts would not be as painful as large when I was using a fermented serum consistently. All the fermented serums I've tried in the past have been different. There's never been a repurchase. I've tried the Rovectin one, which was the first one, the Manio Bifida Biome Complex Ampule. I've tried the MICH one, and so the Numbuzin is the fourth one. I would say out of the other ones I've tried, this one I would say is probably my favorite so far because it not only has a good concentration of the bifida, it has a good concentration of galactomyces. Galactomyces, when I used separately in an essence, which is what they're typically in, I always noticed my skin looked really nice and bright, really even, and it refined my skin texture nicely. Whereas the bifida, that's the one where I noticed the skin strengthening properties. I've been using this every night since I got it, which I believe was around the beginning of August. And I noticed right away how it really brightened my skin and created such luminosity. It's like it created the pregnancy glow for me before I actually got the pregnancy glow. Now I'm getting the pregnancy plumpness because I'm definitely swelling. But in my face in particular, I am noticing a bit more cushion right at the front here of my face, which I'm not complaining. But like I said, before I experienced any swelling or any type of effects from pregnancy on my skin other than breaking out, this one really provided a lovely luminosity to my skin. And I always notice a difference, like I said, when I go back to a fermented serum. Maybe I'll try the MICH one or the Manual one again in the future, but right now I'm really happy with this one. The second favorite serum of 2024, I would consider like the top serum of 2024. It is the Costa Baha 10% azelaic acid serum. So I'm not using benzoyl peroxide a whole lot anymore. Frankly, ever since I just cleaned up my lifestyle, and I don't know if this is pregnancy as well, but I've just noticed that I haven't had like really painful cystic breakouts. I want to say it is before pregnancy because I stopped breaking out so badly. So I felt like I didn't need such strong anti-acne actives, but I am still breaking out on occasion, and in which case the azelaic acid really comes in handy. From my understanding, this is a highly recommended active during pregnancy for melasma in particular. I have not experienced melasma. I only have a couple of months left to go, so don't know if I'm going to experience it soon. But in terms of acne, this has been great. I notice it calms down the inflammation right away. It's really fast acting in that regard. It makes my pores look really good. I would say alongside the fermented serum, my pores have just been looking excellent. This does have a brightening effect as well. So in pair with the fermented serum, I feel like my skin was just like extra bright and luminous. So I've been really enjoying this serum. I'm able to use it twice a day, morning and night, without issues, and you only need a couple of drops to cover your whole face. I found it pretty easy to incorporate in my skincare routine. It's actually the last serum I would use before moisturizer or sunscreen. I haven't had any problems pairing this with vitamin C. My skin doesn't feel more sensitive from using two actives like that at once. So this was a very, very good pickup. I'm so happy I got this, and I find this performs way better than the 15% Azid serum from Ferment that I tried out last year. That one sensitized my skin. I didn't find it tackled acne the way this one does. And this one, it's only 10%, but it's doing a great job. So I highly recommend this one if you want an affordable azelaic acid serum. That's it for my favorite serums of 2024. A lovely fermented serum and an azelaic acid serum. The next skincare item that I have been really, really liking, it is a blend of chemical exfoliants. I don't use it all the time, only on an as-need basis. In fact, I'm going to be using this tonight, so my skin is nice and bright and smooth for the holidays. It is the Skincyclopedia Multi-Acid Peel Night Sheet Mask. This contains a 5% blend of various chemical exfoliants. This makes my skin look so good. Just like I said, bright, smooth. My pores look really good. My skin looks a bit plumper. Right now, I don't know how much it'll plump out my skin because it's pretty plump right now from the increase in blood volume. But either way, this just makes my skin look good in multiple ways. And I only use it once in a while. So really nice to have on hand. I have been tempted to pick up a dedicated chemical exfoliant serum, but I feel like for me, for my skin, it's a little bit of a downward spiral because I'm sure a lot of you can relate. When you see the immediate effects of a chemical exfoliant, you get really excited about it and may overuse it. That has happened to me numerous times in the past. Even when I tried to pace using a chemical exfoliant, my skin definitely looked smooth and bright, but it also looked raw. So the way I'm using chemical exfoliants now, which is just to perk up my skin on an as-need basis, I think has been working well. And in the form of a sheet mask, I think it's perfect. So love this. I'm going to definitely continue using it. I'm going to treat myself tonight with it before the holidays, and yeah, definitely going to pick up more of this. The next skincare favorite of 2024 is also an oldie but goodie. It's something I've been using for a few years now and have been repurchasing time and time again. Can you guess what it is? It is the La Roche-Posay Cicaplast Balm B5+. I actually did have to stop using this in first trimester of my pregnancy because it was, again, during a time where there was like a major heat wave, and with the surge of hormones, so many things were just irritating my skin and congesting it. That was the first time this has ever remotely irritated or congested my skin. I was shocked that not even the beloved Cicaplast Balm could calm my skin down. So I could only rely really on the Avene Thermal Water Spray at the time to be light and soothing. Again, once second trimester came and my hormones settled down, I started using this in my nighttime skincare routine. But in the summer in general, I only use a really tiny amount, just enough to thinly cover my face and neck, and I find that does the job. Whereas now during the colder months, the winter months, I'm a little bit more generous with this. I definitely put like a quarter size amount all over my face and neck, maybe a little bit more. What I love about this is not just the soothing and moisturizing properties, it just does a really good job at tackling everything I want. So like I said, moisturizes my skin, brightens it, plumps out the dehydration lines on my face. It calms down my acne, calms down redness, makes me look refreshed. It just does so many things in one, and it's also great at wound healing. I mentioned in my dedicated review of this where the Cicaplast Balm B5 did a great job at mitigating the look of my appendectomy scars. They're not 100% gone. I frankly stopped being so consistent after a while, but they looked really good, so good that the surgeon asked me what I was using so he could recommend to his patients. So this is definitely the bee's knees for me. We are now on the last skincare favorite of 2024. It is a sunscreen, and I feel like saying with a lot of conviction that this is one of the best sunscreens I have ever tried, point blank, period. It has new generation filters. It is cosmetically elegant. It has high UVA protection, and if you've been around the block with sunscreens, the higher the UVA protection is, the less cosmetically elegant it is. This one is cosmetically elegant, does not clog my pores. I use this in the summer all the time. It is water resistant. It comes, I believe, in multiple sizes and different types, all new generation filters. I am so impressed with this. I want to say it's probably a holy grail. I've only purchased it once, but I do plan on repurchasing it every time I use it up. It is the Riemann P20 Sensitive Skin SPF 50 plus PA 4 plus with a UVA PF above 40. This stuff is so good, not just for the things I mentioned, but when I use it on my skin just looks better. It looks just nicely moisturized, not overly greasy. I'm actually wearing it today. I did not blot my forehead at all. This is like not even greasy. It is shiny, but it's definitely bearable. When I touch my skin, there's no like extra oiliness on my finger. It just comfortably moisturizes my skin. In the summertime, I just need to use powder or blot. Really not a big deal. Like I said, does not congest my skin. This is water resistant. So if you're someone like me who sometimes does not have the time to reapply sunscreen, especially in the summer months, apply a good amount of this. You could definitely apply this generously without it looking too crazy. And this is going to last on your skin because of the water resistance. It also says it protects up to 10 hours. Gentle, fast absorbing formula. I definitely believe that statement because again, it just looks so good on the skin. It just made my skin look so nice and healthy. And because it does have a high UVA protection, I noticed the pigmentation I usually get in the summertime, it's freckles. I usually get like a big cluster right here. It did not even have a chance. Like it appeared a little bit, but once I started using this plus my vitamin C serum more frequently, it definitely not just faded, but it like maintained itself and it did not get any darker than you could see now on my skin. As I've mentioned, I do want to claim this as a holy grail sunscreen. I don't really want to do that unless I've repurchased something multiple times, but with the way this has performed and how I really enjoy reaching for this sunscreen, I think it can be up there in that regard. Maybe I should do a holy grails video soon. But for now, this is the holy grail sunscreen. That is it for my 2024 skincare favorites. I did my best to pare down as much as possible what I wanted to feature in this video, what I felt like truly made a difference in my skin for the better. At first I thought to only share newer items, but I think the older items are equally as important. So you know what I still find stands the test of time and just does a really good job in my skincare routine and what I rely on. I'm hoping to get this up by Christmas Eve, and if I do, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year. Hopefully I can get one more video out before the new year. If not, I just hope you have a happy festive time during this time of year with your loved ones, surrounded by good company and good food. It's always a great time to be around family and friends. That is it for this video. See you all soon. Ciao.